Certainly. Here's an expanded, detailed adventure story for a YouTube audience. It has layers of mystery, character development, and Sarah and Zoya live in a small American town surrounded by woods, farms, and stories. Everyone in town has heard the legend of Whispering Pines, a dense forest at the edge of town where people sometimes hear whispers, soft voices on the wind calling their names. Older folks tell stories about how Whispering Pines is haunted by the spirits of explorers who never returned. When the school year ends, Sarah and Zoya meet up with Max, who just got a new thermal imaging drone. Sarah suggests they go to Whispering Pines and finally put the stories to rest. Zoya is hesitant but agrees to go, justifying it as a scientific exploration. Max is instantly on board, saying he has the perfect tech for the job. They set out at dawn, filming for their YouTube channel as they go. As they approach Whispering Pines, the air feels colder. They joke to break the tension, but each one can't shake the feeling that they're being watched. As they set up camp, they notice strange carvings in the bark of a tree, a spiral that seems freshly carved. That night, as they review their footage, they hear something strange in the background, a whisper that seems to say, "Come closer." The next morning, Sarah convinces the group to go deeper into the woods. They follow the spiral carvings, which seem to form a trail. After hours of hiking, they find an old wooden sign partially buried under leaves. It's worn but still readable, asterisk, "To those who seek truth, silence your fears." Asterisk. Suddenly, Max's drone detects a heat signature in the distance. The group follows it, only to discover a hidden, abandoned cabin. Inside, the walls are covered in old maps, notes, and photographs of Whispering Pines. There's a large, red X marked on a map near a lake deep in the woods. The excitement grows as they realize they're onto something big. But just as they're about to leave, they hear footsteps outside. Hiding inside the cabin, they watch as a shadowy figure circles the cabin, then leaves. They agree to return to town and investigate the X the next day. That night, they post part of their findings on their YouTube channel, and it goes viral. Comments flood in with people guessing what the X could mean: treasure, lost ruins, or even a government cover-up. After a restless night, the friends hike to the lake marked with the X. As they approach, Zoya notices something odd: faint, unnatural ridges in the earth, almost like ruins. They dig around and unearth stones covered in strange symbols. Suddenly, they hear someone approaching. Hiding in the underbrush, they see Mrs. Alara, the town's retired historian, standing by the lake, her eyes scanning the ground. She whispers to herself, "So, it was true." All these years, Sarah and Zoya exchange a look, realizing Mrs. Alara might know more than she lets on. After Mrs. Alara leaves, they continue to explore, finding an entrance to an underground passage hidden beneath a pile of leaves and rocks. They descend into the dark, damp space, discovering an underground network of tunnels filled with more symbols and carvings that look like ancient language. In one room, they find a journal detailing the history of an old explorer society that once thrived in Whispering Pines. According to the journal, the society believed the forest held a mysterious energy source. But one by one, members began disappearing, leaving behind only their journals and maps. As they leave the tunnels, they notice someone has followed their tracks. They catch a glimpse of a man in dark clothing lurking at the forest's edge. Panicked, they decide to return to town and lay low. Back in town, Sarah's grandmother, a retired professor, tells them about a secret society that once existed in the town. They were scientists, philosophers, even artists, who believed the forest held ancient knowledge. They disappeared decades ago after claiming they'd found the source, she says mysteriously. That night, they hear scratching at Zoya's window. When she opens it, she finds a note attached to a stone, asterisk, "Stop now. It's too dangerous." Asterisk. The group decides to confront Mrs. Alara, hoping she'll reveal more. They visit her house, and after much prodding, she finally relents. I was once part of a group that wanted to continue the society's work, Mrs. Alara explains. She tells them about the explorers who believed Whispering Pines was more than just a forest, it was a portal to knowledge from beyond, a bridge to hidden realms. However, her tone turns grave. Those who get too close end up haunted. The forest, it protects its secrets. People started to disappear. That's why I stopped. Mrs. Alara warns them to stay away. But, after she leaves, Sarah is more determined than ever to uncover the truth. They set out on one last expedition, armed with new gadgets from Max, including a signal jammer and high-powered flashlights. Deep in the forest, they locate a stone archway they missed before. Beyond it lies a clearing where the air feels charged, almost electric. As they step forward, a vision fills their minds, images of the explorers, the symbols, and a glowing orb suspended in air. They hear the whispers again, but this time they're clearer, guiding them to a stone pedestal in the center of the clearing. Resting on it is a small artifact, an orb filled with swirling, otherworldly colors. Suddenly, the shadowy figure from before appears, demanding the orb. In a panic, Max jams his drone against the figure's radio, buying them time. They escape with the orb and make it back to town, hiding it with Mrs. Alara for safekeeping. Back at home, they reveal everything on their YouTube channel, sharing glimpses of the orb and their adventures. Their story captivates the internet, drawing attention from historians, scientists, and conspiracy theorists alike. As for Sarah, Zoya, and Max, they vow to keep exploring, bringing the world along as they uncover new mysteries and ancient secrets. They know there's more to Whispering Pines, and they're determined to be the ones who finally unravel its mysteries.